Good day, guys. Sorry, I was just had to readjust some of the settings there, so it doesn't transcribe this, and then because transcription calls to all types of interesting things. Okay, this is EDML 8429, Educational Management and Leadership. This is the Assignment 1 National Support Session. As many of you know, normally NSS sessions are held live. This year, there's a decision has been made that we record them. Therefore, I'm doing this one for you. If you look on the screen, you'll find my email address for those that don't have it. As you don't have the opportunity to ask live questions, please feel free to email me, ask me anything, make sure that you get this right. I actually really enjoy these assignments, although there's quite a number of them. You're a big class, but I enjoy them because they really give you the opportunity to write about what interests you. You'll see when we go through this now, it's a very wide open assignment, and you can do what you want to, and you can express yourself. And I'm relatively open for you to do that, as long as you do that within the confines of academic work, and you can reference and show what supports your thinking and why your thinking is valid. I'm pretty open for you to do just what you want to. Before we get into that, let's just have a look here. According to the current PAS as of today, today's the 20th of the 3rd. This is due on the 4th of April. So you've got about 2 weeks, just more than 2 weeks to do this. But please check the PAS. PASs do change. Due 23:59, when that clock ticks over to 00, you hand it in then. It's immediately late. It's immediately minus 15%. So if you were going to get 60, you're immediately on 45%. And if you were going to get 50, you're in real trouble. It must be handed in on ARC. And please, guys, ARC is new to all of us. You can't email it to me. You have to hand it in on ARC. Please, as soon as this video is finished, once you've listened to this video, go straight onto ARC, go figure out where you need to submit it. You don't want to wait until 11:30 on the 4th of April and then try to figure out where you're supposed to submit it, and then you don't get to submit it because something goes wrong. Also, keep in mind, we're having more and more load shedding sessions as the winter progresses. As we move into winter, I suspect it's going to get worse. So please make sure that you give yourself enough time to hand it in. ARC also generates a Turnitin report. That's like SafeAssign. That tells you if you've plagiarized or there's a suspicion of plagiarism. And then you have time to go fix that and time to sort it out. If something goes wrong, I can't help you. Take a screenshot, make sure the time is included, make sure the thing that's wrong is included in your screenshot, and immediately log a ticket with the online campus. You can email me after that, but I can do nothing for you at that time. I won't see the email definitely that evening, and there's very little I can do on the administrative side. So please immediately speak to the online campus, make sure they know about it. Many of you don't know me, but I am an absolute sticker for referencing. At a postgraduate level especially, I will hammer you. You guys are busy or will soon be busy doing research. There's no excuse, right? You need to have your referencing 100%. Everything that you've used the source for, you reference it where you've used the source in text, and that goes into the references as well. Everything that is in text must be in the references. Everything is in the references. There must be an in-text referral to that. I do check references. I will check your references. I will check your reference list. And you will lose marks if it's not right, to the extent of being referred for bad referencing and disciplinary action. So please make sure you do that correctly. In terms of direct quotes, very few. Try not to use them. Then the elephant in the room, AI. ARC has a built-in detector. We work according to that detector. If that detector tells me there's more than 40% AI or more than 20% AI, I'll have a look at it and then I'll immediately refer it. There is an opportunity to use AI, and you should use it correctly. And the way that you use AI is to have a conversation with AI. Don't ask it to answer the question you have to answer. Ask it the things you don't understand about the question. When you finish writing, take your whole piece, put it into AI, and say to AI, don't ask it to improve it. Ask AI to tell you what you can do to improve it. So use it like an editor that'll tell you what things, or a reader that can tell you what things you must improve, and then go improve on it. Please remember, and if you don't know how to do this, please get in touch with the Information Center at the online campus. You must reference AI if you have used it. If you use AI, any form of AI, Grammarly is an AI. If you use any form of AI and you've not referenced it, it's immediately a level 3 plagiarism offense or level 3 academic offense. That means naught. That means disciplinary actions taken against you. Don't go there, guys. Understand, if you're going to use AI, use it responsibly and tell us you've used it. Reference it correctly. Okay, that's enough negative nonsense. Okay, this essay is 1,500 to 2,000 words. That is very, very short. It is extremely short for what you need to do. For me, I would think 3,000 to 4,000 words would have been more appropriate. But that is the prescribed thing. You need to indicate your word count. So try to stick with that. I will show you a method now how to do that. Excuse me, I've had a frog in my throat. Okay, you must use, and this is not me that says it, it's a prescription. It's in the essay. Calibri, 11.5 spacing, justify it, have a cover page, use headings. I love headings. You want a good mark from Carl? Use headings. I absolutely love headings, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes, and I don't know if it's I'm stupid, you clever, or what the story is, but sometimes you're writing stuff and I'm thinking, what is this student on about? What is this about? If I have a heading to say that says the role of the seater, I can sort of say, okay, this thing that refers to the seater, and that, oh, now this makes sense. Otherwise, it's something that I say, no, I don't understand this. And if I don't understand, I can't give you marks. So use headings, and I'm talking about headings and subheadings. Don't use introduction, body, conclusions, right? No. Use subheadings. And subheadings, I don't mind. I like them. Okay. You must have read these things. Pause and check that you've read these. I have taken the liberty, any of the sources I've given you, I've given you all the prescribed sources, they're all on ARC. Anything that says note, so it'll say prescribed source 1 or 7 or 10 or whatever. If this says note, it means this is not the prescribed source. I have updated it with the most recent thing. So I think some of these I might have updated as well. You need other sources as well, a minimum of 4 additional ones. Guys, really, if you're doing a good job on this essay, you're looking at probably 15 sources. I'm serious. It's at a postgraduate level to have 7, 8 sources, simply not acceptable. Okay, so what do we need to do? Choose a goal. Choose any one of those things. The need to address the country's scarce and critical skills requirements. This is the 2nd or 3rd contact session I discussed that in. By the time you see this video, that video would probably be uploaded because we're doing that tonight, the 20th of the 3rd. The second goal is the need to increase the number of Black graduates in the higher education system. We spoke about this previously. The amount of Black graduates have increased, but as the proportion of the possible Black graduate, it's still very low. What can we do about that? And then lastly, the focus on technological innovation and interventions to improve the quality of higher education. How can we use technology to improve higher education? Those are the 3 goals. You choose one. Listen to me carefully. You choose one of those. And that's the topic of your essay. What do I need to write about that goal? Whatever you want to write about it. Must I give a complete overview? If you want to. But what if I just want to focus on one thing? That's fine too. that's why I'm saying this is a lovely thing to write. I'm going to show you what I would use my limited word count for. But you're welcome to do whatever you want to, right? But in the word count, I have worked this out for you. And there it is. It's a bit small, but I hope you can see it. So firstly, I'll do an intro in which I will do a brief outlines of the current challenge, right? 300 to 400 words. What is the challenge? Why is it a challenge? Why are we not using technology to improve the quality? Why is there a need? Secondly, I would then talk about the mechanism, strategies, and plans to address the goal. What are the official policies? What do those documents say? Who's saying what? Are the universities that saying they're doing thing? Is the Department of Labour telling us how are we going to, why we must, and how we will increase the number of black graduates? What's officially happening, and what targets are there, and how does this work? Now, this is where it's important that you read wider and make sure you've got up-to-date things. Please do not tell me the strategy of government is in 2013. They said that they're going to do X, Y, and Z to improve the scarce skills in 2013. That's 12 years ago. I'm not interested in what they said in 2013. What happened in 2024? What did they say then? So use current and updated things. And this is the bulk, 800 to 1,000 words, right? Then you'll do some commentary and you'll say, well, this is what the challenge looks like. If we said we're going to address the shortage of engineers in the country, what have we done and what does it look like today? And those, this obviously refers to the previous part, what we said we would do and how are we progressing. 300 to 400 words. Now, an academically supported opinion on will we achieve these goals by 2030? Right, so how far are we? And include in there, if you're working in a tertiary institution, how your tertiary institution is doing in addressing that goal. What is your opinion of how they're doing? This is always a contentious thing. Some people say to me, but Carl, I'm a student. I'm not affiliated to any institution. That's fine. Choose the institution and analyze it. Look at in the broader picture and say, what's happening out there in academia. Whether you take TVET colleges, universities, I don't care. But then tell me what exactly is happening in academia if you're not affiliated to an institution. If you are affiliated to an institution, many people say to me, but I can't really talk about my institution. I don't need to know the name of your institution. You know, if you want to say, I'm at the University of Pretoria, and this is what we've done, and here this is our policy documents. All institutions have got policy documents and so on the web. And you can draw those freely and reference them and publish them. I'm not asking you to go scratch in the secret vaults of your institution and tell me the secrets of your institution. I'm saying, what does your institution say they have achieved? And that's 400 to 500. And then a conclusion, some kind of a summary conclusion, 100 words. Now, if you take 300 for the first one, 800, that's 1,100. That's 1,400. That's 1,800. That's 1,900 words if you write the minimum of the word count I've given you there. If you write the maximum, you're probably going to go over the word count. So this is just an indication. I'm trying to sort of say to you, because I know it's going to be difficult to stick to the max of 2,000 words. I'm saying to you, if I have to write this would be Carl's approach. If you look at this and say, no, man, this doesn't make sense to me. Move along, do your own thing. I don't have a problem with you doing your own thing. I just feel that I need to guide you, and this is my guidance that I'm giving you. But you can genuinely do what you want to. How will you get marked? I'll use one of those things. You know what those things are? That's called the rubric. At the bottom of the assignment, you will find the rubric. Please read the complete. That's just an extract. I know you can't read what it says. I'm just showing you what the blockies look like. So If you look at it, this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4 different columns, with the column on the left being the worst mark and the column on the right being the best mark. I read the section, what must I give marks for now? And then I go look, in which block do I believe you fall? And I read the description in the block, and then I determine you in that block. And that block says, give 4 to 6 marks. And then I make the judgment call and I say, are you in the lower end, in other words, 4 marks, in the middle, or on the higher, in other words, 6 marks for that block, and I award that mark for that section. So what you need to do, if you want to be a clever student, as you write, you need to look at the rubric all the time. I don't mark without a rubric. None of us mark without a rubric. So when I start marking, I have the rubric open. And I read your section, and I look at what the rubric says. I say, that's my mark, I award my mark. I read the next section, I look at the rubric, I award my mark. Then I add up all those marks, and that's how I get to your mark. So my marks are completely dictated by the rubric. So if you want to be clever, obviously you need to follow the rubric and just simply make sure you meet the criteria of the highest one, the last block in the rubric. And yes, if you believe you meet that criteria, I don't necessarily believe that, but you're probably going to be on the higher end of the marks, because at least you're guiding your writing with something. Okay, guys, that's it. I don't have anything more to say. As I said, I love this assignment. I'm looking forward to it because you have the opportunity to express yourself. One thing you must please remember, don't just write an opinion piece. That's not the intention of this, right? So what you need to do, you need to choose one of those goals and you need to write an essay on that goal. How do we do that? Well, we use the pattern I've given you, but you start always from the facts. The facts are those things that you find in legislation, you find in academic articles, you find in textbooks, you find in policy documents of government, those type of things. You start there. You write what the facts are. You support the facts from other documents that you can reference. And then you can start moving into your opinion that has been formulated within the context of those documents. Remember something? We use documents, we don't use thumbs. Okay? So please, you start at the theoretics, let's call it the theoretical foundation. You start from that, and from there you move to the opinion foundation, or the opinions that you have around this topic. But your opinion must be grounded in some form of theoretical foundation. In other words, a critically acclaimed source. Thanks, guys. Please drop me an email if there's anything that's not clear, anything you want to ask. I'm always available to answer your questions. Thanks, folks. Cheers.